My name is Ngozi Ejedimu. Like I said earlier, I am a stage 3 breast cancer survivor. I found out that I had breast cancer in 2016. It was just a normal evening. I had gone out, I came back, my hand just went to my left side, and I noticed a lump. It wasn't something that had been there before. I wasn't ill. There was nothing wrong with me prior to finding that lump because that is a question I know a lot of people ask. So I got in touch with my gynecologist. Note that is not the first person you're actually supposed to get in touch with when you find out that you have a lump. But I mean, he was the only doctor that I knew at that time. Was the only doctor I knew at that time. So that was why I got in touch with him. So he booked an appointment for me to see a general physician. And after examining me, he told me that it was breast cancer and that they would have to cut off my breast. Now, there are two types of lumps. There's the malignant and the benign. So for all of you watching right now, don't start touching your breast and once you feel a lump, you just think that it is cancer. Not all lumps are cancerous. So basically, he told me that they would have to cut off my breast, and that was how the journey started. I did a biopsy after that, and when the results came out, it said it was breast cancer. I also had to run a series of other tests as well. You must always do that. So the fact that someone has told you that it's breast cancer doesn't mean that you shouldn't go for a second opinion. It always helps. I mean, I've heard stories of people that have had mastectomies only for them to go somewhere else and someone tells them that they never had breast cancer in the first place. So imagine doing that and losing your breast. So please always seek a second opinion. So I had my surgery in India. I had my surgery in India in November 2016. So I found out I had breast cancer in October. I had my surgery in November. Now you'd probably say, oh, she had money and that was why it happened so fast. But that is not what happened. I'm a lawyer and I like to tell people that before I go on to the next sentence, we couldn't afford treatment and surgery. We had to have help from friends, family, and church. So when you find out that you have breast cancer, don't give up immediately. You must put an action plan in place so that you know what to do. Don't give up. That is the first mistake a lot of people make when they find out that they have breast cancer. Please, please, please don't give up when you find out that you have breast cancer. So I had chemo for 4 months. My chemo was very aggressive. I didn't have radiotherapy, but I had, because it was triple negative breast cancer, I had to have aggressive chemotherapy. So I went through the whole process. I lost my hair, my fingers turned black, everything you read that chemo does to people. I went through all of it. But I mean, you can see, I couldn't braid my hair before and now I can. So I mean, after the whole process, your body starts to, your cells start to regenerate. So I mean, if you found out that you have breast cancer, don't worry too much about, don't focus on what is happening to you at the moment. Focus on what the end stage will be. Life after breast cancer. Well, I've had a few ups and downs, like the fact that because there's something called recurrence after breast cancer, you must have, it's called an aftercare plan. So, note for those of you going through treatment and who are done with treatment, you are not done in the sense of being done based on, depending on the type of breast cancer you had and other things, you must see your doctor at certain periods of times, either 3 months, 4 months. You have that discussion with your doctor. So you would see your doctor at certain times for several tests to be run for them to know that you are still in remission, you are safe, and everything is going well with your body. Now, let's talk cancer prevention. Now, this is a bit controversial. Let me be honest with you. If you want to start to prevent breast cancer or even any type of cancer, you should start from when you are a baby. I know we'll all say that is impossible, but now you know. So, for you moms out there, anyone out there that has small people, small beings, humans they are taking care of, Start when they are small. Because let's be honest, you've lived a very unhealthy life till you were 30. You find out that you change your lifestyle at 31. You find out that you have breast cancer at 33. You would only think back to what you started doing when you were 31, which was just 2 years. So between when you were, let's say, 15 and 30, what has your lifestyle been like? So, yes, we talk about breast cancer prevention, but you must start from childhood. Now, as an adult, here are the few things you can do to prevent breast cancer. Do not live a sedentary lifestyle. That means move, move, move. Even if you work in an office, try and do some form of exercise. If you are too busy during the week, weekends, move your body. Tennis, swimming, just look for something to do. Then watch what you eat. These days, tinned foods, processed foods are a no-no. If you find out that you can't cut off immediately, start slowly and wean yourself off a lot of things. There's the issue of sugar as well. Some people would say, why would you tell me to take every form of sugar off my diet? But no, that is not what the noise about sugar is saying. You get sugars from your fruits, and even a bit of your food, there's some form of sugar. So when we say cut down on sugar, it's on processed sugar. Cut down on that as well. Then stuff like smoking, there's secondhand smoking, I know, but if you're in anywhere where they happen to be smoking, just try to avoid a lot of things. So watch what you eat. Sedentary lifestyle is a no-no. Processed foods. Then there's a bit of controversy now about the link between alcohol and breast cancer. So some people are saying that you should cut off completely. Some are saying you should reduce your intake to 1 glass a day. But for me, I try to preach prevention is better than cure now. So really, if you can stay off alcohol, do. If you can't, limit your intake. Limit your intake. That is very important. So what else? Yes, breastfeeding also. If you're a mom, a new mom, breastfeeding helps to reduce the risk of breast cancer. There's this controversy about stress as well. The studies aren't complete because with cancer these days, there's a lot of research going on. So you keep having for and against. So there's this study that is saying that stress can attribute to systems going wrong in your body, which can lead to breast cancer. I mean, we all live in Lagos. So how do you avoid stress? But hey, anything is possible. You know how they say that it's not what someone does to you that matters, but it's how you react to the situation. I think stress also will fall into that category. So, I mean, we have the bus drivers, we have traffic, we have everything, but you need to learn to minimize stress. It's everything is a work in progress. So, even minimize stress as well. So a lot of people, so I was reading a study some time ago where it said that a lot of people that have had breast cancer, that when they looked down the line, they had issues with anger, with bitterness, and a lot of things. So all those things also play a major role. Basically, live a good life, take care of your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. And I mean, I think that basically covers everything for breast cancer awareness and prevention. Okay, yeah. So Cookie is saying, how does anyone minimize stress in Lagos? It's possible. I know it's impossible, but hey, you have to be deliberate about a lot of things you do while you're on earth. If not, you will be stressed up all the time. Like before we started this, YouTube was misbehaving on my laptop. So we had to use someone else's laptop. I could have decided to start stressing instead of looking for a plan B. So there are ways. It's not easy, but hey, this is Lagos. You have to die trying. Another thing is A lot of people, there are always a lot of myths and stigma surrounding breast cancer. So you hear that your friend has breast cancer, and suddenly you stop visiting, you stop calling, you don't want to have anything to do with her. You can't catch breast cancer. It's not a communicable disease. You don't catch it if I sneeze on you. It's just like you saying because I had breast cancer and you're on this webinar that you have it. Breast cancer is not transferable. So when you hear that someone has had breast cancer, ask the person, how do you want me to help? Ask that question. If it's someone that likes to do superwoman, I will probably tell you not to worry. Just be there. But always ask. Isolation has been one of the biggest problems for women after breast cancer because they find out that they lose a lot of friends. Yes, we will come and beg you for money when we find out that we have breast cancer. But if you don't have, just say you don't have, but don't start to withdraw because part of the healing that takes place after breast cancer is when you are with friends and family. Another thing I try to tell people is what stigma really. Everybody in my church knows I have breast cancer. Everyone on Instagram knows I have breast cancer. I have one breast. So I think it's how you decide to deal with the situation that helps you moving forward. But you need the support of your friends and family. For those that can't support, don't get angry or bitter towards them. At every stage of your life's journey, even with or without breast cancer, there are people that God will send your way to help you down that path. So if for this season, new people come in to help you, embrace them and don't focus on your friend that was your friend and is no longer your friend. Embrace the season, embrace the new people that will come in. That is what will help you with moving forward. So apart from having a lump in the breast, what are the other signs and symptoms of breast cancer? There are 8 to 9 signs and symptoms of breast cancer. So if you are not breastfeeding or pregnant, and you find that your nipple is discharging, you're not supposed to have nipple discharge. That is a cause for worry. If you find out that your breast is red, there's some kind of redness or soreness to the breast that wasn't there before, that is something to be worried about. The first sign and symptom I will tell anyone is know your breast well, so that if you wake up one morning and something doesn't feel right, you will know. And then you go and see a doctor. There's also something called visible veins. So sorry, I'm very demonstrative when I'm doing things. So when they're about to take your vein, you see those visible marks. For breast cancer, it might not be as pronounced as this, but you would see a visible line running across your breast that probably wasn't there before. That is also a cause for concern. Then there are things called invisible lumps that most times it's a mammogram that will pick up. You also have, okay, so there's something called orange peel. You know how an orange is? Those dots, that's the only way I can describe it, those dots on the orange peel. If you start to notice that on your breast, that is a cause for concern. Another thing is, okay, so I know this, a friend had an aunt that she said she just woke up one morning and noticed that her breast was getting bigger and bigger and hard. She didn't seem to think there was anything wrong with it. So she kept procrastinating and delaying and ignoring. But by the time she got to the hospital, they told her that it was breast cancer. So yes, you would say that our two breasts are never the same size, but not that one will be small. I'm very demonstrative, so I'm going to give it. So not that one will be small like this, and then you wake up one morning, the second one is twice the size of this, and you're not worried. You should run to the hospital immediately. And then, if you have a sore on your breast that just starts and doesn't seem to want to heal, that is also a cause for concern. that is also a cause for concern. I think I have kind of covered everything. But the most important rule is if you notice that your breasts are looking funny or not the way they normally should, please, please, please go and see a doctor. Okay, so someone, Daisy Osiago, is asking about family history of breast cancer. Okay, so there's something called hereditary and genetics. So the fact that there are these things called, they now have genetic markers and tests for breast cancer. I know they do them abroad, but I don't know if they do them in Nigeria. They do, so they take a bit of your blood to find out if, I mean, your genes, breast cancer, and all that. If the fact that your mom had breast cancer does not necessarily mean that you will have breast cancer. But yes, you are at a higher risk. That is why those tests are now in place for you to find out. They are called there's BRCA1 and BRCA2 tests. I really don't know if they do them in Nigeria, but those are the tests you do. So yes, you are at a higher risk, but it does not mean that you will have breast cancer. So when you find out that you have a family history of breast cancer, do not joke with your mammograms. And if you get a chance to do those genetic tests, please get them done. Now, for self breast examination. Now, we hear breast cancer and we hear breast awareness. It's not expensive. Checking your boobs at home is not expensive. You can do it lying down, you can do it in the shower. I always advise shower when there's soap on your body. So, okay, so let me stand up. I have to be very demonstrative. So, you probably hear my voice. So, if this is your breast, with your hand touching your head so that it's elevated as an angle, you feel round your breast. You feel round your breast and you extend it into your armpit area. So this is the one that we are taught most of the time. The second one is the same thing I have just shown you to do. Do it when you are lying down on your bed with your hand raised up. Do it so bend as well. So basically, like I was telling someone yesterday, try and check your breast at different angles. So when it's standing, when it's down, when it's flat, just try and check your breast in different angles so that that way you feel every single part of your breast for lumps, bumps, or anything. So basically, that's how you do self breast exams. The best time to do them is after your period, because I'm sure most of you notice that during your period, some of you, your breasts are very tender. Some people, their breasts get a bit big. Some people, all sorts happen to you when you're having your period. So the best time to check for your breast is after your period. Also try to choose a certain day and time every month to check your breast. Some do it every day, but I think that one is just out of fear. But hey, really, nothing stops you from checking your breast every day when you're in the shower. But to be on the safe side, so that you can notice a pattern, choose a particular time and day every month. If you decide you want to be checking your breast on the first of every month, do that so that that way it's easier for you to notice when there is something wrong with your breast. Self-breast examinations are the cheapest. It does not cost you anything. When you notice there's something wrong, you now go to the hospital where a clinical breast examination will be done for you. And really, basically, that's it. So don't always think that once you notice there's a lump in your breast, that means you have breast cancer. Most times it could be a blocked milk dot or something. But self breast exams are the cheapest before you go and see a doctor for your clinical breast exams. And then if he notices there is anything wrong, then if it is a case he cannot handle, you will be referred. But also try to be careful so that you are not self-medicating at home where you notice there's something wrong with your breast and you start to take antibiotics. Breast cancer in general is very confusing, especially breast cancer. It doesn't care how old you are. I know someone who had breast cancer at 23. It doesn't matter if you have big or small breasts, because some people like to think that, oh, that it's only people with big breasts that get breast cancer. Nobody, breast cancer doesn't care. Wearing tight bras do not cause breast cancer. But then why would you wear tight bras? Go for a proper bra sizing so that you know the type of bras to wear. But when tight bras does not cause breast cancer. Like I said, the fact that you have a family history of breast cancer does not mean that you have breast cancer. Deodorants do not cause breast cancer. There are a lot of researches going back and forth on a lot of these issues, but better safe than sorry. Organic is the best. So if you can afford to switch your products to organic products, please feel free to do that. Feel free to do that, because I mean, it helps. So for areas for information on resources, okay, so I deal with life after breast cancer. So that is from survivorship to aftercare. Now, a lot of people would, for me, you'd probably hear people telling you that, oh, you become a survivor after you have gone through treatment and surgery. But I always tell people that the moment you hear breast cancer, that is when I know some people don't like to hear the use of the term fight, warrior, conqueror. A lot of people don't like those words for breast cancer. But the moment you hear breast cancer, the fight has started. You go into survival mode. You go into survival mode. So for resources, go to What Cancer Niger on Instagram. There are stories about women who have had breast cancer. We just had an event on Saturday. So there are a lot of lovely pictures of women who have had breast cancer and what they look like. Because part of what we decided to do this year is that because there's a lot of stigma surrounding breast cancer in Nigeria, because there's a lot of stigma surrounding breast cancer in Nigeria, people don't like to go for tests when they hear breast cancer. I've heard things like chemotherapy kills and all sorts. Now, this is also a very controversial topic. Now, let me address the issue of chemo, not from the perspective of a doctor, but based on experience so far. When you hear that you have breast cancer, your treatment protocol will depend on your age, the type of breast cancer you have, the stage of breast cancer you have, and if you have any pre existing health conditions. So, the fact that two people had the same type of breast cancer does not necessarily mean that it's the same type of treatment that will be given to both of them. They will have different treatment protocols, because for all you know, one of them could have diabetes, the other might not. Then in terms of breast cancer as well, some people will have chemo, some people do not need it. So even for breast cancer, try not to compare and contrast. It's not you can compare and contrast because you need advice on what to do in terms of food and a few things, but don't compare and contrast in terms of progress, because one person might cope better than the other person. So stick to what your doctor tells you to do. I saw the last time on Facebook that yes, and it has happened a few times, where after your first three treatments you start to say that you feel better, and so you stop your treatment. Breast cancer does not work like that. Once you start, please follow your doctor's instructions. Don't start self-medicating. Breast cancer is not a disease that how will I put it? It's it's evil. Let me just use that word. There's no other nice way to say it. So you must be obedient to follow rules for you to be able to fight it. So please don't self-medicate when you're having breast cancer. You know, at times your friends and family will bring you multivitamins that they read somewhere that it is anti-cancer and all those things. Do you know that some herbs interact with drugs? You know how during malaria, when you have malaria, they tell you not to take vitamin C. The same thing happens with breast cancer, with drugs for breast cancer. So before you take anything or you start anything, please consult your doctor. Okay, so Cookie says, what is the best way to support friends and family? Yes, so I've discussed that before. The first thing you do is ask, don't say, let me know if you need my help. Most times they don't, well, how will I put it? I think they say, let me know if you need. If you ask from that angle, most times the person will not disturb you. When you are right in front of the person, ask, how can I help? Now, this let me tell you a few weird things that are probably not Nigerian, but these are ways you can help. If she has kids, and I mean you are someone she trusts, take the kids out for a day, maybe to watch a movie or something. If her house is untidy, help her with laundry. Help her if you can't do it yourself and she needs help with cleaning. Get people in to help her clean her house. Get people to help her with laundry. Those are things that we don't think about. Food. She hasn't been able to stock up her house. Get her shopping list. Help her with food. These little things go a long way. And yes, we always need a blender for smoothies and juicing. So I'm hinting you now on ways you can support your friends. If you don't necessarily want to ask, how can you help? Trust me, you won't go to anybody's house with a smoothie maker or a blender and she will tell you why. So, I mean, that's the hint now. We love our smoothies and our juices. So, yes, if you want to help, take that as a gift. Fruit baskets. If she's done with treatment, treat her to a spa, treat her to a spa day, treat her to a mani pedi. But always ask her, how can I help? And if you see that she's the type that doesn't like to accept help, push it down her throat. Because a lot of times we need help and we don't know how to ask. So if it's someone that you've known all your life, I think it would be easy for you to be able to ask her what she needs and her areas of need. So someone was also asking what stage 3 breast cancer is, because that was what I had. Okay, so breast cancer is from stage 0 to stage 4. Stage 0 is the best. In fact, when people tell me they have stage 0 and stage 1, I always tell them, in fact, you not that you don't have anything to worry about, but I mean, stage 0 is good as far as I'm concerned. You might go through treatment, but stage 0 is good. So for stage 3, so between stage 0 and stage 2, the breast cancer is kind of still within the breast area. When it gets to stage 3, it has started to move out of the breast area into, okay, so you know how, this is how I like to describe it. You know how when you have a cold, your these are your lymph nodes. If you notice this place swells when you have a cold, it's because it's trying to fight your body's trying to fight that invasion that is coming in. So that's kind of what breast cancer, that's kind of what your lymph nodes do when you have breast cancer. So when you start palpitating, like when I had breast cancer, after checking my breast area, they went under my arm area, which you have a lymph node there, and they found out that it was inflamed. So it meant that the breast cancer had started to spread. So I think the arm area, I'm not sure of the number of lymph nodes you have. I think you have maybe more than 10 or 15. But I know that the cancer had spread to like 5 of my lymph nodes. But after having a discussion with my doctor, he decided that it would be best to remove everything. But with the research going on now, and with the fact that there's now personalized care when it comes to breast cancer, nothing is set in stone. So You can have surgery to remove the whole breast. You can have surgery just to remove the lump. You can have surgery to remove all the lymph nodes. At times, there's a research that is saying that you might not have to remove all the lymph nodes, and that surgery and treatment, which will cover chemo or radiotherapy or whatever you're on, will take care of that. So there's research every day. So nothing is set in stone. I mean, there are pills now that you can take for chemotherapy instead of going to the hospital for those bags that go through your body. So nothing is set in stone when it comes to breast cancer treatment anymore, because service is now personalized. So when you go to the hospital, you will have a proper discussion with your doctor, and then your treatment plan will be laid out, like I said, based on the type of breast cancer you have, the stage of your breast cancer, if you have any pre existing health conditions, and how best to tackle the disease. But these days, have a conversation with your doctor. Medicine is no longer one sided, where the doctor tells you A, B, C, D, and you can't ask questions. You need to have proper discussions with your doctor so that even after breast cancer, when you are asked what type of cancer did you have, you are able to answer. Because for women with, I think, hormone receptive, I think it's called hormone receptive breast cancer. I'm not too sure. I'm not a doctor, so in case I say certain things, I think it's called hormone receptor or something. That type of breast cancer. You're not supposed to have. You're not supposed to use birth control pills, because I think it triggers the progesterone or something. So always have this information at the tip of your fingers. The type of breast cancer you had, the stage of breast cancer you had. If possible, if you know the treatment, not necessarily all the drugs, but know if you went through chemo, if you went through radiotherapy. All this information helps moving forward, because at any doctor's appointment, you'll be asked. And then again, what of if you get a new doctor? Yes, he will get your file, but you should be able to sit down and talk to your doctor. And then, breast cancer survivors, or if you are going through treatment, please keep your medical records. It is very important. I have all my medical records from 2016. Keep all your medical records, all your tests, keep all your medical records. It is very important. Now, Daisy Osiago says, if you remove the breast tissue completely, does it mean you can't ever get breast cancer again? Unfortunately, the answer is no. There is something called recurrence. So you can have breast cancer again after you have had it and after a mastectomy, which is why I talked about aftercare plan earlier on. So when I had breast cancer in 2016, I finished my treatment in 2017. My aftercare plan meant that I was going to the hospital every 3 months to carry out a series of tests. You can't avoid it. You must have an aftercare plan. If you've gone through breast cancer and you don't have an aftercare plan, then you should be asking your doctor some questions. So have an aftercare plan. It will tell you how often you are supposed to run those tests. Those tests are meant to monitor your progress so that if there's any cause for concern, they can pick it up. So if you've had a double mastectomy, still check your body. So, like I said, when you're in the shower and your body is soapy, let your hands glide, because at times when breast cancer wants to come back, at times people notice a lump on their neck or something. So the best time to check is when you're in the shower and your body is soapy. But you must have an aftercare plan. It helps so that you are monitored, so that if there is a possibility of recurrence happening, it can be caught early. I know someone in Nigeria who had breast cancer at 23 and had it again at 27. So yes, recurrence happens. But if you do your test regularly, it is easy to pick up. So really, when you hear breast cancer, don't don't go into, I mean, I'm sure now that some people, I'm talking, some people will suddenly feel that their breasts have started to ache them. Remember the last time I was having a talk, after the radio show, a guy calls me that his breast is aching him. Let me now tell you why I'm laughing. So men get breast cancer as well. This is something we don't talk a lot about in Nigeria. Men get breast cancer as well, but it's very, 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 very rare. And most times you have to be above 55 years. You will not see somebody that is in his 20s or 30s or even 40s having breast cancer. But men get breast cancer. So the way you feel for lumps after a certain age, for men, once you pass go above 50, but hey, they say the breast cancer for men is from 55. But when you pass that 50-year age for men, check everything that you need to check so that you take care of your body too. So breast, what's it called? Prostate, do all that. Because the way women get breast cancer is the same way men also get breast cancer. Now, on other myths surrounding breast cancer, you don't get breast cancer because you're a good or bad person. Breast cancer will happen. There's something called healing pattern that I also like to talk about. The fact that, yes, there are people that have had breast cancer, went back to the hospital, and they were healed. Healing patterns matter. So the fact that A was healed does not mean that that is the same way your own journey will look. So please, when you find out that you have breast cancer, go and see a qualified doctor. Don't go and see a dentist. Don't go and see a nurse. Go and see a qualified doctor. If it is something the person cannot handle, you will be referred. There's a breast clinic. So off the top of my head, Lasut has a good place. You can go to Luth as well. I mean, those are public hospitals really are the easiest, and okay, I won't say easiest, because if I say easiest, the issue of queues and all that. But like I said, when you find out that you have breast cancer, go to the nearest hospital. Or no, not when you, because you won't know you had breast cancer till you are told you have breast cancer. When you notice there's something wrong with your breast, the way systems are set up, you are supposed to have primary health centers around your locality. If you go there, they definitely will not be able to handle your case most times, but they can refer you to a teaching hospital. But when you find out that there's something wrong with your breast, please, please, please do not just sit at home and not do anything. I think that is the most dangerous thing that people do, sitting at home and not doing anything. Go to your primary health care center. Every area has one. Every area has one. Once again, self breast exams are cheap. You can do them at home, you can do them anytime. So you are not under pressure to be at a particular place or at a particular time to be able to do them. Breast cancer cannot be caught. So when you find out that a friend has breast cancer, please do not abandon them. Ask how you will help. Then for the average Nigerian walking down the road every day, watch what you eat. Healthy lifestyles. Watch what you eat. We are moving towards organic, which is something that really is easily accessible in Nigeria. So foods that are grown naturally. Watch what you eat. Watch what you eat. I want to keep repeating that. And then for women, take care of yourselves. You need to be proactive about your health. I don't know if any of you saw one video that was going around at some time on social media where the woman was feeling a pain in her breast and kept procrastinating. You cannot afford to procrastinate as a woman, as a mom, even as an aunt, or once you are female. Take care of yourself, especially moms. Go to the hospital when you notice there is something wrong with you. Do not worry about money. I am a lawyer. We could not afford treatment. I like to say this so that you will not think that it is people that have money that go to the hospital when they find out that they have breast cancer. And most importantly, when you have breast cancer, don't listen to the voices around you. We tend to pick up on the opinion of others and forget that we should see a doctor first. So don't find out that go to the hospital, they tell you it's breast cancer. You come back home, you start drinking plantain leaf, boiling soursop leaves, if they tell you to grind chicken poop and chalk. Oh, trust me, some things I'm saying don't make sense, Abi. People do them when they are desperate. So they'll tell you to go and grind chicken poop and chalk. That if you mix it with turmeric, that you it will the cancer will disappear. Please, please, please go to a doctor when there is something wrong with your breast. The herbs, garlic, soursop, and everything, they are there to help you when you're going through treatment. Just to help you just to help your cells regenerate when your body is going through that ordeal. But on their own, they do not cure cancer. Please, they do not cure cancer. Oh, trust me. And Cookie is saying turmeric and chalk. You hear all sorts. You hear all sorts. Some people tell you if you go on a 3-day fast, that the cancer will disappear. Some will tell you, oh, our auntie had breast cancer and went to the village, and that by the time she came back, the cancer had gone. Then some women will find out that they have breast cancer and tell you, oh, they'll not be sexy for their husbands anymore, so they don't want to lose their breast. I have one breast and I'm looking hot. Yes, I'm very vain, so I like to talk like this. I have one breast. See how I'm looking. So if the breast needs to go, let it go. It will not go back, unfortunately, but you'll still be alive to do all the things that you had planned to do in your lifetime. So if you are advised that you need a mastectomy, please, 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 please. Yes, Cookie, I'm very hot. So me, I have to be vain about it because this is the only way to encourage breasts, people going through treatment. Because a lot of times, women like to think that when they have breast cancer, that that life is over, but it is not. Please, we had an event on Saturday. Go to What Cancer Niger on Instagram and you will see pictures of women that have gone through breast cancer. This event was very, very deliberate because we want anyone about to start the journey to see what life after breast cancer looks like. Like I said on my page, breast cancer treatment and surgery is not fun, it's not easy, and it is not cheap, but eyes on the goal. If you realize that there's a focus, there's a how will I put it, you want to get to somewhere, you will not focus on the treatment. Treatment is crappy. I wanted to stop at some point. But if your eyes are on the goal, it makes the journey tolerable. So I think on this note, I hope I have been able to answer all your questions on breast cancer. Like I said, once you notice there's anything wrong with your breast, if they look or feel funny, please, please, please go to the hospital. I have met a woman who had breast cancer at 80. I will repeat, please go to whatcancerniger.com. And sorry, I said .com. Please go to What Cancer Niger on Instagram and you will get all the information you need. And yes, women, learn to speak up. Breast cancer is not a death sentence. Like I keep saying, when you have breast cancer, those that will stay will stay. And they are the ones that will help you. Do not die in silence. As breast cancer starts to spread to stage 4, it becomes very, very, very painful. So please speak up. Speak up. I do not believe in stigma. Like I keep saying, I have one breast. I had breast cancer. I had stage 3. I say that to everyone as part of encouraging people. So please speak up when you have breast cancer. Those that will run, it's even a good way of eliminating your friends. You will know those that are your friends and those that are not. So really, if you've been, I'm not saying you should have breast cancer so that you know those that are with you and those that are not with you, but it is a good way. It is a good way to eliminate the good and bad ones. Hi, Chika. Go breasty. So so on this note, I will end. Thank you to She Leads Africa for having me. I hope you've learned a lot this afternoon. And like I said, be proactive about your health, Nigerian women. Don't just spend money on wigs and makeup. Bye.